Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a nice start to this Monday morning of this new week of opportunities, and we got plenty to talk about with Bitcoin having some moves in the overnight session all yesterday as well. And my God, this market has been ripe with opportunity recently, so please take advantage of Bitcoin while he's feeling generous, or she, whatever gender that Bitcoin prefers. And of course, as always, want to wish you the best, the happiest. And without further ado, let's waste no more time and get in the live scene right here, right now. Initiate that good old teleportation, and I'll see you in. There she is. Haha, so gorgeous. And Bitcoin closing the week out pretty damn strong from what I see. Now, people will look at this and probably say, we have a shooting star dildo on the daily, we have heavier volume, and we're going down. And the volume, and this is my favorite one right now. This is the best fucking meme right now. Guys, this push has been done up in low volume. You know what that means? It's bad. It's like, oh my God, volume is such a fucking meme because you have all of these probably well-intentioned people spewing this garbage about the volume's low, the volume's this, the volume this, the volume. It's like, shut the fuck up. In traditional markets, when I was a professional trader, volume was something that I very rarely even looked at. I only cared about it on major market pivots, like major highs and major lows, typically where you'd see those climaxes on. What we're seeing right here is just a consolidation is what we're actually seeing as we have that nice orderly drop off in volume, which is your very obvious signature of what's going on right now. When people just blindly say, the volume's low, and it's like it's implied that it's a bad, that means absolutely nothing. No, it needs to be taken into context of the current price action right now. Well, we have a nice little consolidation right here and the beginning of a breakout. So to me, that means it means very little. What matters a lot more is volatility. Now, volatility, a completely different type thing, which we might get into a little bit later. But I just wanted to address that because I keep on seeing this around the whole fucking crypto sphere. The volume's low. The volume's been done on a low push. It's like, oh my God. Holy shit. The liquidation engine does not care about the volume that price action was at when you get liquidated. So again, understand that, and in this formation as a whole, just getting started in the way that I look at it. More importantly, let's go over to the weekly as Bitcoin has just closed a pretty damn powerful weekly. This is not a bullish engulfing, but it's damn close. Technically not a bullish engulfing, but does look good for continuation right over here. We pretty much just bought back up that last weekly red dildo, and once again going to be testing probably the upper echelons of this, of the upper Challenger band, which is now going to be coming in right around, look at that, 9,800, which is kind of in the middle of my next target region between about 96 and 10,000-ish region. And I do believe that Bitcoin is going to start, to make a push for that. Looking at the weekly right over here, I do believe that we get continuation. I do believe that we probably test at the very least 9,800. At that point, it's going to open up a little bit more. 10,000 comes into the picture as well, and yes, now we actually have tentacles pointing up and up and around that area. Not only that, but I do believe that weekly Stokes have crossed back up to the upside. This is incredibly powerful. Yes, you can see this happen in very aggressive and in powerful markets, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. It is a market. It does say that, statistically speaking, should be a little bit more cautious, but do not underestimate the last push of a FOMO rally, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So again, the worst thing that you can do is be rational in an irrational market. The worst thing that you can do is be a smart bear in in basically a bullish market is what we're looking at right now. Looking at the weekly right over here, we do see all moving averages splayed out in a bullish posture. We do see the red 10 symbol above the yellow 21, above the green 50, above the cyan 89, all above the purple 200. To me, that's it's just setting the overall trend for a longer period of time. And while yes, we did get rejected from the top 200 band last week, I mean, to me, this just looks like we came down, not even to test the red 10 symbol, but probably the 9 exponential. If I had to put it on for a second, let's go put this on and see what it's doing. I'm going to guess that we tested that. Yes, we did. And in very, 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 very strong markets, you'll only come down to your 9 exponential on the weekly for those reset attempts, if you want to call it that, if you want to refer to that. Anyways, I'm going to put back on the 21. That's something that my mentor used to use on both the daily and the weekly to kind of judge general trend. And when you do get that splayed out effect, usually in very strong markets, you're only just going to be riding off the 9 actually, or some people use the 8 as well, but I found better success with the 9, especially in cryptocurrencies. Anyways, taking this off and going back down, just kind of working our way down a little bit here. We do see 3-day. 3-day looks good to me as well. 3-day Stokes going to be pointing back up, which is again just a marker of the strength of this rally that we're in right now. Very rarely do you see something like this, but hey, I guess it can happen. We do see, I suppose, one example right over here of just a little bit of a fake out. It is going to imply that we do build some divergence for the next attempt. But looking at the RSI right over here, we still have a lot of room to roll before that becomes a little legitimate topic of conversation, and also we need to set in a local high in price action first as well. So it's gonna be a while before, you know, that becomes like a legitimate, you know, topic of conversation, as we just said. Looking at this right over here as well, we do see that this will close later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Any close above 9,100, and I'd be looking for continuation based off the 3-day digital time frame. On top of that, we do see the 3-day jewel probably going to bounce off the white or yellow, depending upon which color you have over there. And again, we spoke about this, you know, early last week, that the jewel was kind of running out of juice right over here, as this is going to act as support, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. The jewel getting it exactly right, just as it was designed. So, you know, I'm liking what I'm seeing here from the higher time frames. Still, higher time frames, you know, getting the price action you know, better than most. Looking at 2-day Stokes, we do see 2-day Stokes having fresh cross to the upside once again. Not only that, but we are defending the edge of the bullish control zone. So to me, you know, just another technical kind of lining up with that. The 2-day Stokes have been pretty damn good at getting the overall price action, especially with the crosses on the same side of the macro trend. So the macro trend being to the upside. Let me just make sure that I'm recording. Okay, recording good. And my disgusting haircut in the background over there, awesome. But yes, you know, the 2-day Stokes have been getting the price action very well, especially when it's going with macro trend to the upside here. So the last time that we saw across to the upside was, well, basically on all of these attempts. So we have this guy down around here. That was the 6th of February. That was pretty much this low right here. Okay, the time after that was this guy right over here, crossing right over there. Time after that was right over here, and then right over here. So all of them have been pretty damn good buys, and we are once again crossing back up to the upside. Not only that, but we do see 2-day Stokes, or sorry, 2-day Jewel having a little bit of a support built up in this region as well. So bouncing off, having a little bit of a bouncy bounce there. So again, you know, all the higher time frames look to me like they probably want some continuation here. It's a very easy way to be managing this overall, although the ranges are bigger. But I would say that as long as Bitcoin remains above this pivot now officially at about 88.50. Whatever the low of yesterday's daily dildo was, about actually it's a little bit lower than that, about 8,800 on GDAX, but I do believe that it's higher on BitMEXCO. Yes, no, it is not higher on BitMEXCO. It's about the same, about 8,800. And what about Bitstamp? Yeah, same, 8,800. Okay, so fair enough. I stand corrected, about 8,800. As long as Bitcoin remains above 8,800, I am looking for some more upside. Of course, that's a nonsensical statement. It's like if it doesn't go below 1, I'm definitely looking for it to go higher than that. It's like, yeah, no shit. But my point is that's a pivot for the market. So as long as Bitcoin remains above 8,800, the bull's base is intact, if you want to kind of relate it in that way. That also means that if Bitcoin does violate 8,800, not even close below there, but just even violate it with a tick, I would be looking for a move back down to about the 83 to 8,400-ish region, probably fill the gap on the CMEs from Friday, which is, once again, we have a massive gap to the upside, so about 8,500. So that will come into play at some point in time. But if I am looking at the higher time frames, I do think that we give a try higher first and foremost. And of course, when it comes to gaps, it's like volume. It's like another fucking meme in this market. It's so silly. There's nothing to do before the gap actually gets filled. People think like if Bitcoin's trading right here, then it's like, we better short this bitch. We got a gap below. We must short it right now. Right now. Short. Great way to get wrecked. And the market movers, the people who actually move these fucking markets, know that less sophisticated people are thinking that for whatever fucking reason this meme has gotten to people's minds by the ways of crypto Reddit and crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube and all these very amazing social media venues that tell you to do excellent things like this, which is great for making your account value equal to 0 Bitcoins and ended you up in the Arthur Hookers and Blow fund as well. Now my point is that yes, when Bitcoin does come back down and fill this gap at 8,500, I will be a buyer there, but I won't be shorting into it or anything like that. I only take the trade when we actually come back down around there. So at some point in time, this will come back into as a topic of relevancy. But right now we're pretty far away from it, and of course, it only that's like a 1 minute move in Bitcoin land, a $500 move down. But my point is that I only take that trade if and when we actually do come back down and fill that for a nice little, at the very least, scalp bounce to the upside. Anyways, looking at CMEs here, we do have a fresh cross to the upside on the daily Stokes. We actually were kind of riding this trend line down over here as well. Kind of like a descending Brownian wedge in a way, which actually is bullish, but it doesn't really operate like that on the Stokes. More importantly, we're just kind of bouncing off this area, rejecting the bearish control zone, and headed back up with plenty of room to go. And I do put more weight on the CME oscillators. I do seem to get price action a little bit better. And looking at the weekly right over here, gap up above all of our prior highs. That's massively fucking bullish. The technical term from that is massively fucking bullish. Massively fucking bullish. So really don't see too much stopping us from about 97 to 9,800 region. Let's see, technically right over here, and that does line up with the measure move off of that past prior formation that we were looking at before, right around about 90, about 97 we'll call it. Which does match up with our measured moves on spot exchanges over here. I think I have it done on the GDAX chart. Nope, there's my GDAX chart. Yeah, a little bit higher in this blue box territory between about 9,600 and 10,000 is what I have. But I suppose I could make that a little bit more accurately speaking, right around 9,700 to 10,000. So I actually do think that 10,000 is going to really start to be a topic of conversation this week, especially with the way that the weekly closed. Last night. I mean, it's damn good. So, again, a lot of people trying to short every $100 up. It's the same thing as all the bears, all the perma bulls trying to buy every $100 down right over here. You're just getting the opposite but equal gang mentality, leading to good old wreckedness right over here. So again, just the market at its best, like showing you all, everywhere where your mind works wrong. Gotta love trading for that, for just revealing our own inefficiencies as humans, or maybe not you, but definitely me. Looking at the 4 hour, looking at lower time frames on my BitMexican chart. What do we see here? We do see 4 hour Stokes headed down right now. Price action getting rejected right at this level, as you can see. GC support very more immediately, right around about $100 lower, right around 90.50ish region. Overall, I just consider this a consolidation in and of itself. Kind of trying to flag out right now. You do see basically one massive cup and handle is what it looks like. Let's actually get rid of some of these because again, they're just not that. They're just not that appropriate anymore. We should have something where the CMEs are, which is going to be right around 85. So I'll leave that one right there. We can get rid of this guy right over here. And then you see these wicks getting picked up last night around the 8800 area to 8850 area. So I do like that. I'm just kind of flagging out right now is what it looks like to me as Bitcoin, starts to grab itself once again. Hourly Stokes, just consolidating is what it's kind of telling us. Hourly RSI, same thing. We're not getting too much off this. I'm curious what the 2 hour says. 2 hour, more immediately probably do have a little bit of downside, like I said, to about 90.50 region. If I'm talking about like the very low time frames, but I do believe that it gets picked up right around there, and we do try a little bit higher. 4 hour, we already talked about that. 8 hour is going to be turning down. So all the medium time frame Stokes are going to be turning down right now. Except they really haven't been good at getting the price action over the past like 5 to 6 months. They haven't been very useful. That same thing goes for the 10 hour, which 10 hour price structure looks fine to me. 10 hour Stokes, coming down, of course. But again, I don't put too much weight on that. Also, looking at the RSI, we did catch wind of the exponential. So I do think that we pop back up and put in and try to like create some divergence or something. But that's going to be, again, that would imply a little bit more of a longer horizon on the time frame. Looking at structure right here, I actually really like this setup, and I do think that this one, if we can close this next 10-hour dildo above 91.50, we're going to move back up to the mid 9,000s. For full disclosure, I did make a few trades yesterday. I did close my short put position, got to collect all fucking 5 contracts of that for, I don't know, like $150 each. So not bad, actually, not bad. As far as spot positions, I did trade yesterday as well. Actually, I did short that move right around 9. What was my position? Let's see, what did I do? Okay, apparently I just had a little bit of a fuck around right over there. I'm just trading for $10. Great one, Krown. What did I do in my streamer account before that? Okay, so I was shorting 93.80. Okay, short 93.80, about 100,000 contracts or 120,000 contracts, and then bought about $100 lower, and every $20 lots, 92.50, big lots right there, 92.60, some lots right there, So I don't know, traded for $100 or whatever. So yeah, my position changed around a little bit, but overall flat once again. Not really looking to do anything spectacular here. My main account is a little bit long on actual position. My stream account obviously flat, and then the account's value is long, but I will be probably managing that a little bit later today. want to see how kind of the beginning of the day plays out. I want to see where this next 12-hour delta closes, but if this 12-hour delta closes anywhere above 91.50, I probably will put some risk back on the table. But again, still not in any sort of a hurry right now. Pretty happy with the way that my trading's been leading for the past week and a half, even with that big mess up last week. Anyways, looking at 12-hour Stokes RMA coming down. I really dislike trading against these guys, especially in this zone, as they have been pretty damn good at getting the overall movement. The last cross that went down that we had in this zone was right over here on the 28th, leading on from 8,800 down to about 7,800, 7,600, so $1,000 move right there. Before that, we had this guy right over here on the 16th of May, which was this move from 82 to 7,000. Before that, we had this guy right over here on the 11th of May. Not as much of a reaction actually, but you can see that it has held some weight in the past, so I really don't like to trade against them. So 12-hour is getting a little bit more menacing here, and that's really why I want to see this next close on this one. If it does close above 91.50, I would be looking for continuation to this next level, somewhere right around 94 and probably beyond. If it does close below 91.50, it's not a death sentence, but it doesn't really offer up a good trade potential as of yet. I'd probably want to kind of sit back and just watch again if that were to happen, because if we do take out again the low of the last 12-hour delta, which is just 88.28 actually on MEX, then I would be looking for a move probably back down to fill that gap at around 8,500 on CMEs that we looked at. So again, even then I'd be a buyer of that area. I wouldn't want to short it really. I'm not really interested too much in shorting right now. I'm interested in buying, and getting some good longs in. So yeah, there's your 12-hour. Not really too much else to say about it other than that. We do see 12-hour Jewel getting, pretty deep into this critical territory. It certainly has gotten deeper in the past, but usually a warning sign when this gets a negative slope, which it, to be fair, does not have. So again, the next sort of move to be determined, I'd say within the next 3 hours, not 3 hours, but 5 hours and 26 minutes, once we see this next 12-hour delta close. If we close above 91.50, pretty confident that we do see that next leg up. If we do close below, it's not a death sentence, but it does to me say be a little more conservative. Of course, this is not financial advice, not financial advisor, just sharing exactly what I'd be thinking in the exact sort of same situations. I am curious how GBTC is going to be opening up, probably massive up today. Yeah, probably somewhere up here, probably in the $12 region, but we don't have any real data on that right now. Obviously, we're not trading over the weekend. Going back to CMEs for a second. I do want to check out what happened to the weekly Stokes over here. We haven't checked on these in a while, and so we do see that they look like they want to cross back up. Actually, not only that, but I haven't really been talking about this, and I think it's time to talk about it. Anyways, I'm going to zoom out the whole entire chart. Actually, let's do this on the weekly as well, and let's get out the good old fibs, right? Let's get out the good old fibs. Where's my Fibonacci's? There we go, Fibonacci retracement, and we'll do a Fibonacci retracement actually for the whole past 2018 to 2019. So we're going to do a retracement from the high to the low, and let's start to see like where we're matching up at, right? So we spoke about this yesterday, where Bitcoin was likely to have some resistance right around the 9,400-ish level. Well, guess what? Not only was that lining up with the horizontal that we had in, but it was also just a 382 Fibonacci retracement. So it does make sense that we did get stifled right around that region. We do see actually BitMEX getting exactly to that dollar amount, whereas GDAX was like about $60 off, but close enough is close enough. We do see the 0.5 a little bit higher, right around 11,400 region, which does line up with this pivot you see going all the way back on over here. So that's going to be a major area within the market. I would be expecting some pretty heavy counter trend plays within that region, and that's actually where I might be a little bit more interested in a real sell. But for right now, with Bitcoin consolidating like this at a major fib, to me that actually typically leads to more upside. Leads to continuation. When you consolidate like this, alongside a major resistance, that's usually bullish. Just like we saw right over here. Remember this when everyone was talking about the 50 simple moon average and saying we're going to get rejected by the 50 simple moon average, because that's exactly what happened in 2014, 2015. I mean, the fractals still haven't learned that it doesn't fucking work like that. And more importantly, when you see a setup like this where you're grinding it up, creating higher lows along the way, and grinding a major moving average, that's bullish as fuck from a moving average perspective. I mean, that's really good thing. So yeah, Bitcoin really fighting for it here, taking its time, kind of moving a little bit more slow fashion. But you are noticing that once again, Bitcoin is just having these incredible intra dildo volatility. Screaming around price action. $20 in some ticks. I see like a tick for $20 every once in a while. It's pretty insane, and that's just because looking at the volume profile right over here, we are pretty much in no man's land once again. I mean, yes, it gets even more no man's above 12,000, but you do see that we're a far cry away from what we were doing at the 3,000 level, the 4,000 level, the 5,000 level, and of course the 8,000 level right over here. The volume profile on the right side just basically showing that now once Bitcoin's above this area, it can rip pretty fucking hard. So really, the big message that I'd have is that if Bitcoin, if you do see Bitcoin start to move, do not get in its way. I really don't think that it's not clever to be looking for shorts right now. It's clever to just ride the trend. The trend is your friend until the trend is, as the saying goes. Shorts will be viable at some point in time, but I do want to see divergence on a higher time frame, at the very least a daily, preferably up to a 3-day and a weekly is where I'd be looking for the money shot on the end of this rally attempt. But for right now, looking to me like more continuation more than anything. So with all that said, I do want to go back down and go into the lower time frames, just see if there's anything that I missed over here. Yeah, 4 hour still kind of fighting for it, but again, you look at the structure like this, we did break out of that 8,800-ish region, came back down, retested it perfectly, and bought back up immediately. So that is a good response in the way they look at it. All the volume people saying that this is bad. Nope, it doesn't. It's fucking irrelevant is what it is. It was consolidation, and we're actually getting an increase in volume right here, right now, for the quote-unquote breakout. So with all of that said, let's go check out the other top shitcoins. I'm curious what the market leaders are doing. Mrs. Likecoin over here, one of the market leaders, topping out herself a little bit, and in fact yesterday did not get the continuation I was looking for. So this is not I would start to say that while Litecoin has been quite resilient in this region, I'm not a huge fan of the way that the daily looks. I am a fan of the way that the weekly looks, so perhaps we do have a little bit of downside on the daily. If Litecoin came back down to like 122, 123, I would be looking for a major bounce there. The weekly does still look like it wants continuation to me. We do see weekly Stokes still up, although getting tired. We do see weekly RSI getting up there. It's going to be creating some divergence, but not quite yet. We do see weekly Jewel firing off some warning signals. It is not a sell signal in any way, shape, or form, but it is a warning signal. And we do see that price action in general does actually look like more continuation to me. So there's warning signals present, but again, do not underestimate the last-ditch effort of these rally attempts. On Litecoin, support right around 131, and then as we just said, about 122.5 to 123. I do believe that we hit one of those areas first before continuing onwards and higher. Again, looking at the weekly, I do think that we get another try higher, but first things first, probably a little bit of a pullback. Like I said, likely around maybe even a little bit higher than that. Maybe over to around wait, what did I say? Did I say 131? Looking at the weekly, I'd say that 129 is actually a little bit more likely, but anywhere within this region is really kind of what I'm getting towards. I'm not getting too exact with this one because I don't feel too comfortable with it, I suppose. I'm trying to find something that lines up, but I'm not really finding anything right now. I guess 129 is an area of consideration. Perhaps let's go to the 2-day. Yeah, 2-day looks good to me. Okay, you know what? I can stick with that then. 131. I really don't want to see it get lower than that. If we do start to violate below 130 again, I do think that this one does come back down to the lower 120s, around 122 to 123 if that were to happen. But for right now, I actually do think that we might have already seen that pullback attempt. Maybe one more try to 131, and then I'd be looking for another attempt to head to the upside. Again, looking at all higher time frames here, looking fine to me. This is your monthly. Monthly is just straight up continuation. In fact, looking a little bit better than even Bitcoin himself. Let me make sure that this is this is consistent amongst GDAX and Finex. We do see making new highs on the monthly. Not only that, but monthly Stokes pointing back up to the upside, erect as fuck. Just like what we're seeing on Bitcoin right now. Which, let me just get off this volume profile. It's quite annoying. And we do see monthly Stokes on Bitcoin pointing back up. We got plenty of room to roll here. Monthly RSI getting back above the exponential. I do think that at some point we do come back down and test the exponential, and that's going to be a major buy for me. But don't think that happens anytime soon, actually. I mean, we're more than halfway through the month of June now. More than halfway through the month of June, and we still haven't really, I mean, this just looks like continuation to me. We have new highs right now. We need to set in a local high on the monthly first and foremost before anything else, and then we can talk about about an actual comeback down and setting a higher low and all that kind of stuff. But as you can see, that would take at least a few months, because first we need to confirm this as a local high. So the soonest that we do that is, I guess, next month, maybe at the end of next month. But even then, that would be I don't think that happens like that. And then we have to have some down and then set in the higher low. So that'd be 3 months away at the most aggressive of the aggressive way of looking at this. So could it happen? Yes. Is it likely to happen? No. I think that we actually get a little bit more. So again, things are starting to align. Things are starting to align, and this is Bitcoin's looking constructive. So we looked at Mrs. Litecoin. Let's go look at Mr. BNB. What's CZ coin doing over here? And CZ coin, do we have new highs for the month? Yes, we do. And what about the weekly? How did the weekly close? Weekly closed okay. Not as good as Bitcoin, not as good as Litecoin, but is okay. And we have a very natural stop right here, right around the low of yesterday's daily dodo, or in fact anywhere below about $30. And I would say that this one wants to come back down sub $30. Well, no shit, anywhere below $30. Definitely go sub $30. Yes, I get that. But I'd be looking for a more prolonged down movement into 25, 26ish region. For right now though, weekly still looks okay. I would give the nod to the bulls here. I would give the benefit of the doubt to them. We do see weekly Stokes wanting to cross back up to the upside. They are in the more critical zone. It is a time to be cautious, but I would say that, depending upon your risk appetite, just a natural stop right here is very obvious. And until that gets hit, I'm leaning upside. Looking at daily. Daily looks okay. Looks like we're just getting reaccumulated right around the yellow 21 exponential moving average, and I do think that we get another attempt back up to $35. Daily Stokes a little bit weaker here. Daily RSI just oscillating between the bullish control zone and the neutral zone. Tells me it's bullish consolidation, but more importantly than anything, I don't think that it's leading right now. I think that it's kind of following. Let's go check out Mr. Buterol. How's Mr. Buterol doing? Where are you, Mr. Buterol? 269. There you are. And just kind of stair-stepping his way up, but same thing as Bitcoin actually. Very easy way to trade this. A very natural stop right below the low of this dildo at 264 in spot 01 on Finex. And if that were to happen, if we do take out the downside of this, and yes, I would be looking for a move back down to about 255, 256, just like I'd be looking for Bitcoin back down to 85. But I'm not really leaning towards that. I'm actually, do I lean towards that happening on this one? It looks constructive to me. Here's the thing with the weekly. The weekly can come all the way back down to 245 and still be quote unquote okay. What do we look like on the weekly Stokes? Weekly Stokes still up. Oh my God, man. What about 3-day? Yeah, so 3-day, I would really not want to see violate 257. Daily, yeah, so we could even get back down to that 255-ish region and still be okay. Or sorry, 257. 2-day, okay. Not as strong as Bitcoin as we're not really making new highs here, but the way that I trade it would be essentially the same. So the low, this guy right over here, 264. As long as we maintain above that, I do believe that the next move to the upside. If we do take out 279.5, then I would be then that'd be confirmed to me, and I'd be looking for a move back towards about $300 plus. $300 would be my first target, and then like 360 would technically be my second target. Looking at the volume profile, we do see a little bit of activity in this region, but really not much above it. In fact, Bitcoin Mr. Buterol can really rip above that area. There's really not too much. Even pulling it out a little bit more, you can see very, very clearly that it's pretty much barren. About 350 would be the target, actually. Sorry, 350. So first target 300, second target 350 if that were to happen. But still, a little bit of waiting needs to come before we make a decision on this one. Did we look at daily oscillators? Yes, we did. Daily Stokes headed back up. So I would be leaning a little bit more to the upside here. I'm curious how the 12-hour looks. 12-hour, man. Yeah, this one's making it difficult. I do think that Bitcoin's a little bit easier to read right now, and they're pretty much all going to move with Bitcoin to begin with. So I'd put the most weight on that. Anyways, let's go check out what about Cardano? Cardano versus the Bitcoin, and this is what I'm assuming most of the most of the altcoins look like versus Bitcoin, which they're basically trying to they're struggling to hold on to lows. They look some variation of this versus versus Bitcoin. But in the actual dollar chart, you're gonna see that Cardano is moving up right now. But yeah, rejection off the red 10 simple last week. The second that we take out 980 to the downside, and I'm looking for new lows on this one, or at the very least to reach our prior low, right around here, probably like 880-ish region, and probably does make new lows over time. But let's go check out the dollar valuation. I just want to accurately represent this. So, you know, the Bitcoin pairing is going to be losing ground, right? But the dollar pairing actually looks kind of bullish right here. Basically just flagging out, creating this nice consolidation above all these major moving averages. I would say that Cardano probably has a target around about 10.8 cents, almost 11 cents, and a target a little bit higher than about right around 12.5 cents. And I do believe that it actually hits those. We're about to get another bullish cross of the Cyan 89 above the purple 200. So I do like that. And looking at Cardano versus the dollar, yes, it is bullish, but looking at it versus the Bitcoin, it is bearish. And what does that mean? It basically means you'd be making more money if you're just blindly holding Bitcoin right now rather than whatever the fuck this name is. Let's go check out, we looked at BNB. What about Zcash? Zcash hitting our first target. I believe our first target was around, wait, no, what was my first target? Nope, it's a little bit higher, about 105, 106. We haven't quite hit there just yet, but I do believe that it stair-stepping its way up there. Looking fine to me. Ooh, and we're about to get a golden cross on the on the daily right here. Weekly looks fine as well, and I would still be sticking with that target to 106. If we do see a pullback, $90 would be the target. Sorry, about $88.50, $89 would be the target, and I'd be looking to be a buyer right there. Bcash, what's Bcash doing? Same thing pretty much. It's basically the same thing. Resistance right around here, 144, and let's just call it 445. If 445 breaks, and yes, I do believe that we hit that next target somewhere around this area right here, right around about $500, and probably do head up a little bit more after that. Again, if we do even just take out the high of last week at 439.86, then I would be looking for that continuation regardless to $500, and that would be the first target. Second target would be actually around $600. Not $600, about $560, $570. Wow, those numbers really do change. Anyways, yeah, again, same thing right over here. If we do take out the low of yesterday at 417, I'd be looking for a move back down to this region, somewhere right around about $400 even, but not leaning towards it happening right now. Tron Cash, what's Tron Cash doing? Very obvious support right around 3.22 cent. As long as we're above that area, I do look at this as a base, and we probably do rally up towards our next target of 3.5 cent, and probably beyond after that. Again, same thing with all of these guys. Very obvious and natural support on the weekly right around about 3.1 cent. Regardless, and overall, as long as we respect this area, I do look at this as a bottoming formation actually. So again, Tron, putting in a little bit of a base here amongst above all these major moving averages, probably a good thing. Looking at daily stokes crossing back up to the upside as well, I do think that this one does continue back up, and daily fighting with the RSI, daily RSI fighting with the exponential. Again, I do give the nod to the bulls here. Let's go check out Neo. What's Neo doing? Neo's actually looking okay. More strong than most of them right now. We do see daily stokes very, very wrecked right there. I do think that we did hit our first target yesterday of right around $14.20, and I do believe that our next target, $15.50, is on the way. Above there, things get a little more different as Neo can really rip to this next area of about $20 even. Just looking at the volume profile, you do see some activity being shuffled in that area. So yeah, the second that we actually take out our prior highs right around $15.04, probably do initiate that next leg. EOS, what's EOS doing? Hit our target of 720, I believe. About 722. I said 7.25. We got 722. Not bad. I do think that this one has some more to go. And same thing here. As long as you remain above the low of yesterday, 680, very natural stop. And I'd be looking for a move probably back up towards 770 region. Looking at the weekly has support right around 663. So could come back down around there, but I would be looking to be a buyer. I'm going to be right around the yellow 21 exponential moving average on the daily. So if EOS does lose this area, I would be looking for more prolonged downside into the low $6 region, upper $5 region. But again, I'm not leaning towards it happening. I'm leaning towards it probably continuing the upside here as I get rid of the volume profile. And let's go check out Mr. Ripple Munipples at almost 43 cents. So did hit our first target of 42 cents yesterday. Our second target of, I think I had like 44.5 cent. Not not hit just yet. We got to 44 cent. I do think that we give an overall test to it relatively soon. But looking at the daily right here, we're very obviously in a triangle. We have the golden cross. We're above all major moving averages. I'm bullish on this. I'm fucking bullish on this. Looking at the daily Stokes, very fucking erect. Looking at daily RSI, just regained the exponential. This is all looking good to me. I do think that if and when we do get the breakout out of this area, I'd be looking for a move towards about 52 to 53 cents. Ripple looking kind of primed right here. I actually like what Ripple's doing. What about Monero? What's Monero doing? 97.5 bucks. A little bit on the stronger side, I suppose you could say. Hitting our first target of $100, but I do believe our second target of 115 still stands. Yes, it does, and I do believe that we hit it essentially. The second that we take out last week's high at 101.35, then yes, I would be looking for that next leg to be initiated. And right now, it does look quite constructive, even with all the oscillators suggesting a little bit of tiredness, a little bit of overextension. You never know how, I would trust price action more than indicators when it comes down to that. And looking at the daily, same thing, golden cross plus above all major moving averages. We just crossed the red 10 simple and the yellow 21 above the blue 377. This is all good shit. Anyways, I think we have one more where Stellar Rumens, 12.8 cent and hidden what was our target yesterday? Probably 13 cents. I do think that we hit that. Yeah, we got 13 and a quarter. I do think that it tests a little bit higher towards 13 and a half. Again, it's kind of similar to Ripple, except this one's a little bit more of an obvious flag, and I do believe that's a little bit more midterm. We'll have a target around 15 cents and then 18 cents. But for right now, just kind of shuffling its way through very short term, probably 13.5 cents where I'd be looking towards, as it's going to be the top of the flag resistance is what it looks like. Anyways, back on a Bitcoin, and I'll start to wrap this bitch up. But basically Bitcoin's pretty damn clear right here. I don't really have any sexy analysis to give you or anything like that, but just use the low of yesterday, 8,800, or even the low of the last 12-hour dildo right over here at 88.28. As long as Bitcoin remains above there, that's kind of like your natural stop. So there is a little bit of risk involved here, as that's $350 away, or about $300 away, I should say. But if we do see this next 12-hour dildo close above 91.50, or I guess it's technically a little more like 91.60, then yes, I do look for the next leg to be initiated towards 9,500, 9,600. Target still stands from what we were looking at yesterday and in the week prior. Basically, let's go over this chart. Somewhere in the next region between about 9,600 to 10,000, we would be looking towards. Maybe it's a little more accurately spoken, right around 9,700 to 10,000. And that's kind of where to have my eyes on for this next leg of it. Also going to be the top of the weekly Bollinger Bands, and an overall, kind of a psychological target as well, as it's been on everyone's mind's eye recently. I forgot to talk about the shorts and longs. We do have more shorts and longs for the first time in a while. This happened on the advent of yesterday. We have about 1,000 more shorts than we do longs, although shorts are paying a non-existent rate in comparison to longs. Neither are that high. We do have very little hedge shorts, so only about 750, so really about 24,000 open naked shorts versus 23,500 open longs. So it's unbalanced still in favor of the shorts, and that would put a little bit more pressure on price action to the upside. But again, neither is that crazy, neither is that exaggerated, so it doesn't really mean all that much. There are a lot more tangible things going on right now, but if I had to lean one way, yeah, it's just be another thing on, in the case of the upside. Now, then I'll bring it over here on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, which is actually taken out in 84, which is extreme greed. And if you look at the oscillator right here, you do see that we are getting into the more crazy area, which I have said in the past that the top of this next run will be put in somewhere between an 85 and a 90, and we're at an 84 right now, and I do believe that it's another thing saying be a little bit cautious in this region. Not the time to get super aggressive with like long-term longs or anything like that, but it is the time to be a little more conservative. So I'll put it that way. Did want to represent that well, just because well, Bitcoin is looking good here, so I did want to, represent the other side. But of course, when it comes down to actual trading, like legitimate, real trading, it's no more complicated than this right here. 8,800, 8,850, whatever you want to use, they're equally valid. You could even use 8,900 actually. In fact, I would use 8,900 right here. It's just a little bit easier to say. As long as Bitcoin remains above 8,900, I do believe that the next leg up, is basically staring us in the face. If we do break 8,900 to the downside, I'd be looking for that move back down to about 8,500, 8,400 to 8,500 region, and I would be a buyer of that, as this would probably just, chug its way along just a little bit more. I'm sure that people are going to be calling this an ascending broadening wedge, or yeah, and ascending broadening, which I guess would be the correct term, which is typically a bearishly resolved pattern, but it's not, well, you don't get resolution until you break the support of it, which is all the way down here at about 7,900. So it's got a lot of work to do for that to even be, a consideration. And right now, I'd rather go with the tried and true and just go with the former trend, as the trend is your friend until the trend, as the saying goes. So with all that said, a pretty boring video this morning, but just kind of following up over the past week and a half of action that we've been looking at. And that was all the preparation. Now, you just get to enjoy the glory time. So there you go. I'll be back on later with some more live stream analysis. Looking forward to seeing you there. And if not, I do want to wish you a happy rest of your Monday, a very nice and relaxing, profitable rest of your Monday. And take care. See you soon.